is sobering. What's the scariest one?
During many changes in my life, I get a certain feeling, you might call it. And this feeling is really hard to describe. If you have seen any of my previous videos, you know I'm usually a very lighthearted person. So this might come as a bit of a surprise, but I have a lot of mood swings. In just a day, let alone a month. I have a lot of built up emotions. And this only precipitated during COVID. This was when I only truly got that feeling, that funny feeling. Now, this funny feeling is what I call existentialism. Existentialism is best described in our modern landscape as the thought of life, how we perceive it, and what happens when we start to lose our sense of self and begin to wonder if life even matters or if anything matters. This is the easiest, albeit most simplistic way of describing it, but it's the best way I can sum this up. When you think of Bo Burnham, what do you think of? Now, I have a couple things I think of. His funny raps, his absolute absurdness, all the offensive shit he did, and a lot of it just did not age at all well. But whenever I think of him, I think of one really one thing that he did that truly connected with me on a deeper level than I've ever been on with any other person, with any other media, with any other living being. I've never been on this level. And this is his movie, Inside. In its premise, it's about how it felt during lockdown when we couldn't go anywhere for 2 years. 2 years of my life. 2 years of yours. We couldn't do anything besides scroll our phone for days on end, praying, wishing that it would end or we would die. Those still in schooling like me developed problems. We developed developmental problems. We aren't able to function. We gain endless social anxiety, and the endless parasocial relationships we built. Why can't I get out? Why can't I get out? Why can't I leave this? Why can't I leave this behind? With the song Content, the feeling of rejuvenation after and through a depression and the endless problems that surround us, the feeling of not just being alone, the feeling of not being done yet, really exemplifies this piece. And I would say it helps convey the humanity in this undoubtedly shitpost. So, comedy. This song, it hit me in a really awkward place. So, as a white man who lives comfortably, you kind of are in a really weird place. Because as a liberal, you want to be progressive. You want to fight for equality, fight for justice. But as, a white man in privilege, you need to make sure that you don't overstep it. because I am the establishment. This shows the ever expansion of a feeling that you can't do anything, that you can't do anything to further the world because you can't, because you're not in the position to. And really, we're the ones who created the wrong. We're the ones that set into place the wrong, what needs to be corrected. But and even if we want to help correct it, we can't do it without a lot of thought. And we need to be very careful on how we attempt to fight. For a while, I didn't see anything really that interesting with the song FaceTime with my mom. And to be honest, I didn't care. I honestly did not for a while. Then I started to read into the subtext, in between the lines. What Mr. Burnham did here, he brought out something very interesting with it. And I am going to call it the unadulterated feeling of the pandemic and how people really felt. The odd loneliness that technology has brought out. With every minute becoming more sad, feeling more and more lonely. But the ever frustrating mundanity that is the simple things that can help you. But they aren't simple. They're infuriating. And communication, while it is important, it has been changed forever. And you can communicate with people, but the feeling of actual connection with another human being has been lost. And albeit it's nice to communicate, this really just shows how unnecessary and how unreliable it is to help you. And that you cannot escape the ever-growing hell that is the inside. You cannot escape the inside. You cannot escape your mind. You cannot escape the ungodly loneliness. How the world works. This song, it's a really fun one. I cannot ever deny that. But the discourse that this sets upon us, how false narratives and conspiracies fit into our world with the ever lingering presence of white privilege, even though we want to help, we end up hurting. It's ever present within the song. Going into what Sako represents is the harsh reality and the misrepresentation of the truth that affects us. Showing both how we messed up the world, while showing that all of this is just a narrative or scope of understanding within the social and political systems that punish the 99% while also actively harming the minorities within that 99% and just feeding back into the 1%, which is disgusting, but it's the truth. It's the truth. We will never be able to get out of this position unless we do something as a collective. The song White Woman's Instagram. This song is something. It describes ever-growing false personas that we put on when we're on social media. With ever homogenizing of these personas and how people aren't being themselves on the internet with the very rare glimpse of them as a person, it dehumanizes us. It dehumanizes them. those moments are brief and deeply personal, but then the rest is fake and dishonest to the moment. I could be dishonest with you right now. This could all be a lie. This could all be fake. This James could just be persona for all you know. I could just be an abstract concept as a puppet of someone else, and you would never know, which makes me feel less like a person. And this just only highlights lack of humility, the lack of humanity shown on the internet, lack of any sort of personality, love, hate, fear felt within any media, any social media. We are craving for real. We want what's real, but no one is willing to be honest. No one is willing to open themselves up. And that makes this song oddly beautiful, but also just absolutely fucking dumb and heartbreaking. So yeah, Unpaid Intern, this is literally just only and really just a shit post about how interns are unpaid laborers and laborers they're basically slaves. How it's legal is beyond me, and since I'm going into business, I don't know how to feel about this because I'm definitely going to be in this position at one point or another. So yeah, let's go, baby. Unpaid labor. Who needs human rights when you get free labor, right? So, Bezos won. This song is all about the 1% and their acting of almightiness, their presentation of power, and their greed on display. It's disgusting. Acting like they're enduring more than we are. That they are better. That they are more than us. Which is more than disgusting, reprehensible. And this song just perfectly encapsulates the disgusting absurdness of billionaires and why I genuinely hate them with a burning passion. Sexton is it's a very interesting inspection of romantic and physical relationships between people during the pandemic. While people are longing for physical love, for attention, for a partner, they can't exactly connect with their partner because a lot of people live separate. While it does talk a lot about relationships, it goes into how it feels to be truly alone and how some lifelines are just something as simple as being horny. And it isn't anything to gawk at, but it's a really interesting display of existentialism in relationship to relations, which is kind of funny now that I say that out loud. My favorite song from this album is Look Who's Inside Again. It's all about being trapped, being stuck in your room, and how that affects you at every point of your life. You need to do something. We as people need to do something. And with that, it gives you a safe place to go to when you want to be home, but it acts as a trap. Something that traps you in a barrier that you cannot escape from, that life isn't available. You cannot get out there. Which, albeit I'm reading too deep into this, it is really beautiful and it's really interesting. I love it. You really should listen or watch this song. Problematic is, well, as you can guess by it, it's about some fucked up shit that you do when you're younger. And how you can't use any excuse to excuse yourself from actions, for they are years and years alone. And while they don't really matter anymore, you need to handle them somehow. And it's hard to try to rectify them, but it is possible. But you can't feel better with yourself. You cannot progress in life without just moving on from it, from finding some sort of closure in it. Song 30 is kind of sadly relatable to me. And it's all about how past generations of your family raised the bar of expected legacies, and it feels too high, and you can't beat it. You can't do something as meaningful with people that you love, people that you respect, doing more important things than you, while you feel like you just haven't done anything or started anything meaningful. It hurts, and it destroys the soul, and it makes you just feel awful. And even though you are important, you don't feel important. You don't feel like you have done anything meaningful. You don't feel confidence, which just adds on to that funny feeling. So, don't want to know. It's really hard to say what it's about, but it's really hard to really analyze it at all. But the best way I can quickly analyze it is when you're putting out media out there like this, you don't really want a negative reaction. So you decide that it's better to not have a reaction at all. And the general fears of a reaction, because who knows if people are gonna like it or not. It's a random, messy wheel of shit and luck, and there's no meaning or rhyme or reason to it. But you feel dedicated to it. But you can't see the bad stuff in it. You can't see the bad reactions, because that just makes you feel like you aren't capable. Makes you feel less. Which you don't want to feel that. But everyone here has felt it at one point or another. Well, I guess speaking of shit, let's move on to shit. I mean, it's really just about being depressed. There isn't much more to it. You could make an argument that it's representing how you feel like shit when you lose yourself to the point of just ending. You just don't care about yourself, your hygiene. You don't care about anything, which is a really shitty feeling. All Time Low is really just about the ups and downs of depression and just general loneliness that came with the pandemic, which it was a bit frightening and scary to actually think about this song. And as I'm speaking out loud, I'm honestly starting to put some stuff into a perspective. finally, the most popular, most asked for shitposty song, Welcome to the Internet, is really what the internet has done to us, people who were born with it. What it has done to our society by giving us endless options to be engaged with misinformation and clickbaits making us feel overwhelmed, and the overall feeling of constant dopamine, and the beautifully contrasted verse which begins to go into how everything was simple, everything back in the early days of the internet, and the build up to, and I quote, you, and how we were made for it, and how it was made for us. Place that makes us unstoppable, and forced dependency on the internet. With the third verse only meaning to show us the malicious intent behind the first verse, which sends us back into the overwhelming, stimulating feeling of the internet that just traps us in engagement. We can't escape this monster. We don't have another choice, but we keep on feeding it, and it's just circling back. It just won't end. It won't end. And Bezos too. Billionaires always win. And they always get what they want, even at the expense of others, with no limits. We are doomed. We have nothing. So, as you've been hearing, I've been very much alluding to the song. That funny feeling. When you are living through life, you don't truly realize how insignificant you are. With the eventual and ever steady race to fakeness, to consumerism, and the challenge of everything, it is too much, and it is unneeded. And the constant feeling of doomerism and its influence leads to existentialism. And this specific brand of doomer influence and its impact on existentialism is felt with this story, with the dissociation being the tool that really gives us how people are losing their sanity, how people are losing their humanity to the consumeristic world that is only losing itself and what was. The constant dread of everything just being over, with nothing that you do mattering. We're done, and we're ending ourselves completely by our own accord, which is the scariest part of this whole song. You don't know, you can't fix it. You don't have power. Everything is dying, and it will never be the same. It can never be the same, which is scary, and it's disheartening. It makes me want to cry. All eyes on me. This song. Why does everything have to finish? Why is it when something is truly started, when a conversation is truly brought up, ends? Why does it end so quickly with no actual commentary? No commentary that could have any impact? That is the question that this song asks. The want for it to keep on going is even more apparent. How depression and burnout can destroy you. And when you're finally ready for better things, they just go away. When people are finally ready and they finally can, they are presented with the biggest barrier possible. All of that is when everything feels like it's ended. When life itself comes to a halt. When the end is beckoning you towards it. While being alone and scared. There's no reason to it. There's no reason to it. You can't do anything. Because that's just life. With goodbye, it symbolizes something really, really sweet. You aren't alone. Things can and will get better. When media is made, you don't get to see the other person's reaction, but it does impact them. We need to have the ending of something great because it will just continue and become less of itself. And while this is overwhelming at times, it's really how the ending of everything feels. It recalls every past theme, with it just being yet another piece, an ending. With everything just coming to a close. And that's okay. That's what this song is about. That it's okay. Because it impacts people. It gives them something. And it isn't just nothingness. But you can't let it live forever. So Any Day now is just a repetition of the same lyrics for a little while. This is just reflective of how media is. Everything is the same. And nothing is ever truly new. Just a mix-up. Just a remix. While these songs are slightly connected, but honestly, they are one of the most incoherent collectives that I've ever seen, they do paint a very interesting story. These show the progression of one's mentality and mental state as a whole of everyone during the pandemic, with the undertones of white guilt within society, the juxtaposition of a scared collective and the crestfallen joy of a man finally ready to interact with the world again. Bo Burnham here uses each one of the songs throughout the album to create a deep connection with the audience by sharing a common problem: depression. But he uses existentialism to evaluate the reasons why this depression is happening. Its existentialism acts as a conduit of Bo's depression and how it represents the common existentialism among the people, among us, among you and me. AJR's The Maybe Man album is a very introspective yet existential album. And its main point is to question who you are at your core. What makes you? What is important to you? And how it somewhat relates to existentialism. Who am I? Am I just something else? Am I someone else? What do I know? What am I? What are my downsides? What is mine? Why can't I be something else? Why are we who we are? These are the questions that the song Maybe Man proposes and sets up for the rest of the album. This acts as the establishment of being in one of oneself. Just to know who you are. Just to know what anything is. What anything that relates to you is. Any relationships, any feeling. This is something that I know a lot of people can relate to. We don't know our purpose, and we never will, which is kind of scary. But this song addresses it. The song Touchy Feely Fool encompasses the want to move on and not being able to. Just to be without someone, without the fear of losing everything. To lose yourself is better than just to be yourself. Just hoping that it will be better someday long from now is better, but you need it sooner. You can't wait for that someday. You need it now. Because that someday might never come. Yes, I'm a Mess is a bit of escapism, if I'm being frank. You need to escape from the past. The destruction of your past life. Just leave in it. This only really gives you the rejection of others, but the acceptance of who you are and your actions. Feel free of everything else. Just being able to live with yourself after everything you've done, after everyone you've hurt. To be fine, to be okay with what you've done and all of your actions. The dumb song is the feeling that everyone gets from having everyone else reject you as you've turned out. For all of your actions, or for not. Just the embodiment of ignorance is bliss. Feeling useless but happy, which just makes people not need or want to put up with your crap, which lets you feel freed. Like the song's name suggests, inertia is about the feeling of being stuck in a path. About being stuck where you are in life. Feeling that nothing is progressing, nothing is happening. Besides what is meant to happen on this path, nothing changes, but it changes in the weirdest way possible that just keeps you on the same exact path throughout life, and it feels meaningless and nothing feels right, and just the feeling that you aren't able to change it, feeling trapped, feeling like nothing is meaningful. That's what this song's about. That's what inertia is about. You don't move, you don't go, nothing changes. But at the same time, everything just keeps on going, keeps on changing the exact way it shouldn't. It just does not feel right. Nothing feels right. Now, I'm gonna have to be honest with you. I have to say I relate to the song. Turn Out Part 3. Feeling alone, then feeling love and wanting more of it. And then the feeling that everything is moving too quickly. Feeling that everything is happening again and not feeling better. Even though you should feel better. Not feeling that things are equal. feeling that everything's going too quick. Everyone else is better at better at life than you, than me, is frightening. We don't have much time, and love is weird, and not even that. You only have love for only a little while. It's a gambit. It's nothing that you can tangibly hold for long. The Hole in the Bottom of My Brain is a song about nothing. Nothing means anything. And everything you do is so abstract that it doesn't mean anything. Acting like nothing is wrong with this doesn't help. Being popular doesn't fill it. Being wealthy doesn't fill it. Nothing does. You are not able to be full. But you need to seem like you are. You need to seem like everything you have is so grand. That your life, that life in and of itself is so grand and expansive that you feel more. But you just don't have it. We don't have that true okay. Even doing something for yourself doesn't feel right because it is all fake. This isn't real. This is just an abstractness from something that you did. You are alone. The DJ is Crying for Help is about now that you're popular, now that you are someone, everyone just uses you. You aren't an individual when you're popular. You're something else. You're an abstract concept. You aren't a being. You are a thing. And you have to keep up with it. You don't get anything. You don't feel any connection. And you have to accept it. Even though you do it. Your fame. You feel like less of a person. And after all that fame, after all that is gone, you are alone. And you need to catch up while revolving around your brand, which is a lonely and ever-crushing adventure. Sad one that brings nothing but your own tears, then your own downfall. Song I Won't is about you don't have to be your brand. You don't have to be the norm, but pressure cracks. And you are cracking. You're forced to be with other people that you don't want to be with. You don't need them. You don't need this. You need to be yourself. You need space to go on. And this overwhelming world and the excitement that it brings is nothing. It doesn't mean anything. It's just another way of passing time. Just another little thing that doesn't matter. The song Steve's Going to London. It's an experience. Everyone else is doing something. But what are you doing? Who are you? What can you even do? This is all about how when you try to pay attention to life, to everything else, nothing feels real. You can be anything, and it doesn't matter. You aren't real. The randomness of life only serves to distract you, which gives you a false purpose, a false bravado. Then we just get into how, as a creator, you have to do your own thing. Being unhappy is just something along your journey. And no matter what you make, nothing really changes anything. You don't change. Nothing else that you do applies to anything else. Which is kind of sad. God is really real. Even when something important to you is happening, everything else just stays the same. And you start to see things where they really aren't. Everything is relative when you pay too much attention to it. Every problem is bigger, but you can't have that thing happen. You can't lose this thing. But everything ends, which is scary. Facing the end of something is scary, but you just need to deal with it. You need to say that you miss it. You need to say that you love it. But you don't get that chance unless you take it. You don't get another chance. You are not alone. Just know. 2085 is how, if you knew how everything would turn out, you would have done it differently. You need to be okay with what you've done, even though you want to change it. You need to keep what you have. You need your people. Don't go too hard because that'll make them hate you. With everything not being permanent, you need to do whatever it is to be satisfied before it's gone. Who you are is something else. You can't spend forever trying to figure that out. Life is what you make of it. You need better. You need to be yourself. Because you just don't have the time to figure it out. So my not so in-depth analysis of this album is, in summary, how you deal with life, how everything affects you, how you feel compared to another, is how you feel. And you don't need to be okay with it. But you need to be okay with yourself. You can be okay with everything, but if you can't be you, if you cannot be fine with who you are, then you can't. You can't be you. You can't live your life. You can't be happy. You can't be sad. You have to do what you want in life. And if that doesn't work, then, well, you fucked up. And I'm sorry to say that, but you have to eventually be okay. You will eventually be okay. But right now is in the moment. Right now is the present. And you need to get to that moment. And you can start that right now. Everything from, punching a caterpillar. I don't know what people do. Because I'm a lonely person who, on Christmas, was writing the script. I don't have a life. I'm okay with that. I'm not sad, but I'm not happy. And that is what this album's solely about. You have to be okay with you, and you're fine. Your course in life is fine, but you have to do what you have to do to change it. You are the one in control of it. Now, this is part where I have to, and I'm obligated to get really weird and relate this all to my life. This past year, a lot of things have changed. I can't explain too much at this point, but I want to cry. My friend groups have grown, but they've also died, broken apart. Seeing people I care about fight, feeling overwhelmed and not being able to handle anything, I feel so alone. I can't take anything I've said back. All the people, all the relationships I've hurt, and everyone who has hurt me, I can't take any of it back. With only 4 people staying the same in my life, being my only real support, but not even being close enough that I can be honest with them, at least fully honest with them, with no romantic relationships, even though I need one. This all breaks my heart. I have to move on from this point in my life in another 2 years. But I can't move on. I've stayed distant from people that I love because I can't hurt them. I just want to be normal. I have had most of my life taken away from me. And only 4 years ago, regaining any bit of it. And then falling into a depression, became more closed off, than having almost all my social circles die. It killed me. I can't be who I really want to be, what I wanted from life, which is about the point where I started to feel like nothing was real. I didn't feel real, which is when I started thinking about existentialism. When I started thinking about my life, what meaning it has, and all of it just felt like I'm in motion. I never have felt still. I've never felt like I'm in one place because I'm constantly metaphorically and physically moving. I can't have emotional connections that I can voice to about this. I still feel like nothing matters, because nothing does. And while I do feel a lot better with that, I just need to do whatever we need to do, whatever we can to make it more bearable, because without that, then without other people, without that, we have nothing. Nothing happens. Nothing means anything. We are alone. But being there for others, letting yourself cry, letting yourself indulge because it doesn't matter, is why I'm here. We can be and do whatever we want, which is beautiful to me, but it's also really scary, which is why this all means so much to me. This channel has been one of the few things that has let me sustain myself and not spiral as hard, which I know it's pathetic, but it has made me happy. I don't want my life to change as much as it has, and as it will. And this has been my only tether to myself. I don't want to fulfill this fake prophecy that is my future, but I have to, because nothing else I do really matters. Nothing I can do will change anything. The thing I've been planning to be for a while now, I just can't be, because it destroys my soul. I need to entertain, because after that, I don't have much to offer this world. This is why I want to dedicate this to what has made me spiral. My friendship with 2 of my friends being destroyed because they don't like my other friends. This made me question the point of all of this, which is why I haven't been in a good place for a while now. I need love. I need time away from this, which is why I took a lot of time to myself. I took a 2-week break, which has let me do so much for myself. Even though I love this this is one of my dreams. It takes a lot out of me, out of my education, which is usually fine because, if I'm being honest, it doesn't take much from it. Even though not many people enjoy my content, it still takes a major priority, which kind of causes me to lose my sense of self. I haven't felt like a person for a while, which, if I'm being frank, caused me not to develop as much. Which isn't gonna disrupt this channel as much. But I want to be honest with you, because I need to be. I care about this way more than you would believe, than you probably do. To you, I'm probably just some random idiot who makes video essays. But that doesn't change the fact that this is a lot. It makes me happy, which is why I love it, but it does take a lot. I want to do my absolute best and be the best for each and every single person who watches this. So please understand that my work takes time. That I'm still in school, I'm still growing up, which is a lot and won't ever really be done. But I want to do more because I really love you all, each and every single one of you watching, each one of you who subscribed, is each one of you is making my dream come true. I do this all for you. And I just really want to say I love you and I care about you. You are important. Oh, wow. That was a major emotional outpour of all my feelings that I've been building up for a while now. I hope that you enjoyed that. Even though it got a bit repetitive, please know that I love any feedback and I want to do more. I was even thinking about doing a bit more of my old content from time to time, or even maybe doing more streams, because I haven't done one of those in months, like I think 6 months now. If you think either of those would be interesting or cool, please say so in the comments, because I know there are people who can comment now. Yeah, I saw you on the last video. Don't think I didn't see you. But please voice anything you think about when it regards to this channel, this video, and maybe we can even become a bigger channel. But until later, I love and care about each one of you. Please make sure that you are happy and living the life that will make you happy.